Hello. Welcome to. Actually, you know what? Let's call this a side quest. Welcome to the side quests. Today we're talking about microtransactions, specifically in video games. Maybe we'll go into mobile games. I don't know. I'm your host, Deluge. I got my main man Benny with me,
Yo.
and I got my other main man Revan with me.
Heyo.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, let's talk about what is our definition of microtransaction for this specific podcast.
I would feel very specifically it's anything that defines either a very small amount of content or a very small amount of cosmetic or non-content affected things. So like not a big bundle of content, or you could kind of define it as a big bundle of non-content. I don't know. How do you define a skin? Is it non-content?
I would
It's called
say
cosmetic.
I would call that cosmetic.
Okay, so cosmetic we'll define as non-content just because it only adds personal value. It doesn't add
Yeah.
actual content value. So
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
that doesn't add content value, either in a large way or a small way. Small way could still kind of be a microtransaction if it's like a weapon in a game, and it's like really like one weapon and it's like $2. I feel like that counts. But anything
for
that's
sure.
like above 15 or 20 and it gives you several pieces of content, that's basically like a mini expansion depending on how big it is.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call that a microtransaction.
All right. So it's content over price value then.
Yes.
Cool.
More specifically these days, microtransactions have led toward cosmetics, but they can be content. It just depends on what the developer.
That's true. I guess let's start with the elephant in the room. Like, I've noticed everybody's been losing their shit in the Monster Hunter community about these new DLC weapon skins.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's just I don't understand it at all. Like, it's just bonus content. I don't see why people are up in arms. Like, in that update as well, you're also just going to be able to layer every weapon in game over any other weapon in game. So I don't see it as like the hot tomato everybody's making it out to be.
I feel like it really depends on who you listen to, because I think there have been at least a couple content creators who have made very good points about their problems with it. But the sad thing is there are a lot of people who will just say, I don't like it, and then not elaborate, and say things like, oh, it's a greed. This could harm the Monster Hunter franchise. It's going to get way worse from here. Trust me, I know. And things like that. And they'll basically, I don't know, they just don't bring anything nuanced or interesting to the conversation. Because this is worth talking about, especially for Monster Hunter, if you don't want it to. If you feel like it's going to go that way and you don't want it to go that way, it's important to constructively point out the issues with this. Sadly, not a lot of people are doing that right now.
No, they just see it as most gamers do, as this is a microtransaction. This is bad and it's going to ruin the game because for the most part across the board, a lot of game companies, the way that they implement microtransactions, it quite honestly it ruins the gaming experience. And that's what everybody's afraid of. Or at least that's what I think they are. I'm not gonna act like I know what's going on in people's heads. I know the shit they put on Twitter, you know?
Yeah, we know what's going on in their mouths, but
who knows what's happening behind closed doors, you know?
Mm.
And also, yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of clout chasing with this issue, where you have people just kind of spouting off. Like you said, they're just kind of throwing out buzzwords, not really adding anything. They're just trying to get more views or trying to increase their platform or their reach because they're like, oh, everybody's talking about this. Well, let's talk about it. That's not what we're doing, I swear. I swear that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, God. The pot is black, and I'm a kettle.
If you want to cut what I'm about to say from the episode from it being kind of weird, you can.
No, we like weird here. Apparently, I did a viewer poll, and my viewers like weird, so.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like virtue signaling, but to gamers.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like I said, it is something we all rally behind because no gamer worth their soul likes microtransactions.
Yeah, it's just because I don't know. There's not a. And again, we're not talking about people who bring constructive arguments. Absolutely not. Those people, they're usually pretty calm about it too. Like some of the people I know or I watch that memeingly get very mad about this kind of stuff actually were very calm and have very constructive things to say. So no, I don't think across the board everyone's bad like this. It's just sadly the louder people are drowning out the people who are being reasonable.
No, you're absolutely right. Because I'm sure there are enough level-headed people. They're just like, oh, I if I have to cash, I'll get it. If I don't have to cash, it doesn't change my experience playing Monster Hunter.
Do you want to touch on what Rurikon said and how you guys feel about that?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen that video yet, so I would, go ahead and educate me. I'd like to know. I'd like to dissect that.
Okay, well, since I'm actually being recorded, I should probably try very hard not to paraphrase things. I feel like the general gist that he was going for was that it could go in a line where the things that you pay for have more effort than the things that you get for free.
And I
He
could see
sees
that.
a lot of hard work went into this layered weapon,
Yep.
and sadly, some of the other new weapon designs don't get things like charging gimmicks for charge blade, greatsword, or hammer. Some things just aren't really there, and then there's no cool sheathing animation. There's no cool for weapons that totally could have had them but didn't. It depends on the weapon, obviously. It's they don't want to go overboard and do it for every single weapon, which is fair.
Right. But you do like it when it is there. And going back to what you said about having these DLC weapons have more effort put into them than like the ones that are in the base game. That could be a very slippery slope. And that is actually a very good point to bring up. I noticed nobody else has brought that up, at least that I'm aware of, other than that's from Rurikon.
Yes, it's
And
almost like you went through World of Warcraft problems.
right. Yo, yeah, let's not even get into that. That's a whole other mess.
Yeah.
But I could see Capcom emphasizing like them working more on the DLC content than like the free title updates, because that's what in their mind is what's gonna make them more money,
Yeah.
So I hope that's not the direction they go, but that is a very, very good point. I guess, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'm done. I was gonna go on a little tangent, but I'm good. No, go right ahead, Revan. I'm not feeling tangents right now. I'm really not.
I gotta think about this.
Take all your time you need, man. I can cut this shit out in post.
It's like I can see them going that route, but at the same time, it's like I look at those layered weapons and I'm like, I don't really care much for them. They're too much, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they're just kind of neat.
They're neat, but I still prefer the normal designs they go for.
And I feel like I'm also in that boat. Like, they are cool, and I might pick up one or two, but in all honesty, I like the way that they look. I don't like that you have like this weird polygon thing hanging off your back. I prefer to see like the actual weapon. So
It's
like
very
how much I
off-putting.
actually use them per like how much they cost is going to be a huge whether or not I buy them.
Well, they are going to be sold individually and in a package, which is a whole other thing.
But... Yeah. Well, if it don't cost too much, I might pick them up just for the shits and giggles, but I probably never use them.
I might pick up one just because Lance.
But that's true. That Lance do look good.
One, because it's just because bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you on it. And is it really a bad model to have like we're gonna release a bunch of really good high value content for free, so that way people are around and can be tempted to buy really small bean stuff? Like, it's I don't think it's that big a deal. You could see it being as predatory, but with how they've done it, it literally doesn't affect anything. And there's plenty of cosmetic content in the game. They're releasing cosmetic content all the time. Sadly, very slowly because it's a portable game, and sadly, portable game events aren't the best. But I don't see that as the most predatory model like people are trying to make it out to be.
And they're treating it like how Activision does their microtransactions, and it's just like so weird.
Yeah, it's not like there's a bunch of free content pulling us into you to buy a loot box so that way we can unlock a weapon that we want. Black Ops 3, anybody?
Oh god.
I regret playing that for a year. And it's like it just doesn't feel as predatory. In fact, when they're like, "Hey, you want some music for your lobby?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll toss you $4." I've been gotten like hundreds of hours of content out of this game so far. I think throwing you $4 so I can have new music isn't gonna kill me.
No, exactly. It's just like, what is it? Somebody posted a meme of just all like paying money for jazz remixes of Monster Hunter songs gets the fucking happy face and the thumbs up. DLC weapons. It's fucking like, no, don't, no, bro. It's just
Oh,
like, that's
because
like such a
Oh
pot
yeah,
black
that
kettle thing.
was Monster Hunter jokes. I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
that.
Okay, so you saw that
is
one.
Yeah, I did see that
I'm just
one.
like, that summed it up perfectly. Like, come on,
Really
guys.
did you guys hear what they might be doing in the new update for music DLC?
No.
Apparently, people heard jazz versions of Seregios' theme and I think someone else's theme.
Oh. That could be
So,
I think
nice.
Malzeno. I think I saw Malzeno.
someone said something like that, but I can't remember for sure. And all I heard was Steve, and I was like, "Yes, that song would be so good with jazz."
No, it really would. You know what would be also cool is if you could change that in like the hunt, and so that would play instead of Steve's actual theme. That would be cool.
I wonder how complicated that would be for. It'd
To
probably be
implement?
super easy for modders. Or not.
For modders, yeah. For the dev team, I wouldn't even know where they would put that button. Would that be like an option in like the main menu, or would that be in the hunter notes, or would you have to go to your room or something
wonder
to do
if-
that?
I wonder if monsters in hunts carry like big area of effect circles that like activate music files. That would be
Probably.
interesting.
Probably.
Because I wonder if that's what you'd have to alter. I feel like you would. Anyway, side tangent.
Well, no, but that's still on topic because we're talking about the because everybody loves the DLC musics. You know, I haven't heard anybody lose their shit over the fact that this isn't free. This isn't an event quest. Like, I don't know what
Even
it is
though-
with this whole like event quest thing in Rise because the ones in World I don't. I mean, sure we got like some stuff, but a lot of them were just there for the sake of being there. You know.
and which is really really funny if you look at it. People usually will look at something that preys on nostalgia, air quotes, and be like, "That's horrible." But then they're giving us old hub music, and we're like, "Oh my god, I fucking love it." And it's like that's fair. I do love it too, right? I'm not hitting on them for doing that. I'm just saying it's a little bit um it's a little bit hypocritical, but a little bit not. I don't know. The biggest point is though, because you notice how I like preying on nostalgia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what could have preyed on our nostalgia?
What?
The set that looked like Guildmarm, the set that looked like Hawk.
That's true.
They're all in the game.
Yeah, those could have all been paid DLCs, or they could have done. You know what? What they could have done if they really wanted to be scummy is like probably do like a poll or some shit on their site or on Twitter or whatever to see what everybody's like favorite like armor sets are, and then just start releasing those in batches of as like paid DLC, like as layered armors.
I mean, hell, they even gave us Bahari and the Admiral sets
Yep,
for free in the game
free.
that we can then turn into layered armor free.
No, that's great.
Without,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously time spent, but, you know.
Yeah, no, and that's also another point to bring up there is that like even with these layered weapons and the DLC armor sets, it's just like there's so much in-game content that does the exact same thing. Like you want to layer that, you can layer it. You can make any set in the game layered and just wear it if you want to. You know, and people are losing their shit over like a handful of weapons and some DLC armor sets. I'm just like, what the hell is this shit, man?
It's a thing. I think it is fair to be like, oh, but the events were so good in World. I got the Black Eagle. I got the Guild Palace. I got Wyvern Ignition.
Yep.
Help me. I need more event weapons. Dante's Charge Blade.
The hammer, the squid hammer.
The Meat Hammer.
Yeah.
Guild Palace.
Guild Palace.
Is there anything else?
No.
If that's it, then Rise probably is going to be pretty close in quality then.
Yeah.
Because over time, we'll probably get similar amount to stuff as that.
Or also keep in mind, there's also like the eye patch quest. That was a really early one where you get like that eye patch or whatever. But a lot of the ones in World are just like there for the sake of being there. Like I guess the giant Kulu one, you get some gold eggs for. But a lot of them are just quests where you like hunt a monster, and it's either I think it's like a size thing, or it gives you more rewards or more hunter rank. There's a few that give you more decorations, but again, going over to Rise, it's just like there's a quest for making money. There's quests for getting parts. There's the quests they have specific purposes, but like people are like well they're not giving me in-game content, so they're bad.
I'm gonna throw mad shade at World
Go
because
for
I
it.
just realized something. Rise actually has the same level of unique non-monster weapons, but they just put them in the game before the events because they put Antique Machina in the game.
Yep.
They put
yes.
Downwheel Order in the
No,
game.
absolutely. Like imagine people
put all
losing
the-
their shit over the Antique Machina being layered weapons instead of actual weapons. Oh god.
Well, like we got the Bear Hammer, we got the Egg
Yep.
Hammer, we got the Corn Popper. Like all of those they could have saved those and put those in the DLC. Not even
Exactly.
that DLC.
As event quests. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could just make the main game. Like, and a lot of those ones you mentioned are from the base game too. So
Yeah, they're already makeable. You didn't have to wait on events to make
Yep.
them.
You don't even need to buy frigging Sunbreak to have them. You can have them in the base game.
That's actually really funny. I never thought about it like that.
I didn't think about that shit either. That was a really good point.
I feel like most people just focus on the event quests and never care to put the event quest and the expansion together.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, event quests. Let's completely ignore the huge expansion we got and just focus on the event quest and the rewards from that.
No, seriously.
No, and honestly, it feels like the devs are doing what they were doing with Iceborne as well, which is actually focusing on building up the content in the game, not just event quests. Event quests were always meant to be the side piece.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
Yes.
So they're very much focusing on expanding the content in the actual game, which is mean to say that to events, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
Expanding the anomaly quest ranks, expanding the top end of the quest ranks, stuff like that, adding new things for investigations, new things to buy with investigation coins, which I hope they do add more of that. Because I got a lot and I don't really want to buy mantles right away because I never know
I
when to get
forget
'em.
those things even exist, to be honest with you.
Well, I have enough to buy a mantle right now, but I'm paranoid that if I go fight that monster, I'll get another one, and I don't want to spend my coins.
I swear to God, Ben, if it's a Basarios Pallium.
Oh, I should buy that. Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that later. Anyway, but yeah, it's a thing, isn't it? It's so.
It's polarizing is what it is.
I know. I will say I can agree that there is something special with how World did it, just because it being released over time, even
Mhm.
though it is free,
Yep.
adds a hype to it. Because when things come out, you'd be like, "Oh, you did the new event" or something like that, right?
Yep.
I mean, I personally find it cooler to see if I didn't know what Antique Machina was, and Luge, you made like the Charge Blade,
Yep.
and I'd be like, "Excuse me, what the fuck is that?" And then you'd be like, "Oh, I went and I did this with the stuff," and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go drop everything I was doing to go get that," because it just looked that cool. But that's already in the game. It's just a pacing thing, I guess. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm inclined to agree. Because, regardless of event quests, like you said, they're side pieces. And the investigation system they've put in the game already, like, that's hours upon hours, just crazy ass grinding. Anyway, so, like, people look at these event quests like, this is the end game. No, not really. There's kind of fun things to do, like, get a thing or some stickers, or if you fight the giant crab, you get lots of money.
It's pretty funny though, isn't it?
Right?
We cry for an end game, we get an end game, and then we ignore the end game talking about it.
No, seriously. Well, I feel like that might also boil down to like a lot of people only playing like one or two weapons and then only making like 5 or 6 in those particular
Which is
categories.
fair. That's the majority of how people play Monster Hunter. We're kind of the freaks, so.
Yeah, no, it's like you play like 6 weapons. I'm just like, yeah, well, I could probably use the whole roster if I wanted to.
I
but
have
don't-
10 builds for each class. Not really. That would fill my
You're
lives, but I have
insane.
not.
He's insane. Somebody stop this man. He's crazy. He's playing Monster Hunter incorrectly. Somebody stop him.
Oh, what's my main? My main is Monster Hunter. What?
All weapons main. Yeah. What was that? It was a series of memes of like it was called like the life of an all weapons main in World or something like that. Where it's just like you're always broke. You never know what to pick. You never know what to wear. You're always changing your builds. You're always running out of slots for new builds. It's like, oh shit.
God, I'm struggling so hard to not just talk about Monster Hunter the whole time.
Right? I mean, do we want to shift gears into talking about some other games that have poorly implemented microtransactions?
I have one last point. Revan, do you
Go
have
for
anything
it.
more?
Not that I can think of.
So I've told both of you guys this already. I think the biggest question you have to ask yourself when you talk about the monetization with how they're doing it with Sunbreak.
Yeah.
And this sounds really like I'm trying to invalidate people's feeling. I get it. It's fair to not like it. My point is you're saying that it's bad. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's in question here. And I think if we had to choose between one or another, what we have now, or imagine if title updates costed like $15, but everything was free. It's like once you paid for it, you got everything. You got the content and you got the DLC. Would people like that more?
No,
I wouldn't
honestly,
choose that
I feel
option.
like honestly, if that was the standard, I feel like people probably wouldn't be losing their shit over these layered weapons / DLCs. But the fact that it's free, that might be what's fucking with people's heads, making them think that they're entitled to these things. You know?
Dude, I get to make the fighting game point because it applies here.
Go for
Holy
it.
shit. Okay, Tekken.
Yep.
Tekken sucks to buy now because it costs $100 to get all the characters.
Yep.
Imagine if dude, Monster Hunter could cost $140 when all the title updates were done if they costed like $15 each.
God. Or
Easy.
wait, in Tekken, did they not just throw all that shit into like the Ultimate Edition of Tekken?
Ultimate Edition is almost like $100.
That's so fucking stupid. Who would pay $100 for a game? That's so dumb.
Down to 60. I think it's down to 60
Okay, good.
now, but it was 100 for a while.
Yeah, anybody. I feel
Or
bad for anybody
or 90 or whatever.
that would like be like a content creator or some shit, or just some rando is just like, I want the full Tekken experience and has to pay $100 for that shit. That's fucked up. That's
Dude, I
I
got it
would
for
say that's
free.
borderline predatory. I really would. Predatory business practices.
I wouldn't say it is. I'd say it's poor planning.
That as well.
I'm gonna say I think Melty Blood is doing a fighting game version of what Monster Hunter's doing. They're making the content free, and wait a minute, they don't have microtransactions. Fuck. But anyway,
Really, there
the
isn't
games is what you buy.
anything that you can like buy for an add-on.
Voiceovers. So like you can
Voiceovers,
get
colors?
characters to narrate your game. No,
Oh.
colors are free. 100%
Oh,
free.
whoa, really?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
And you can make custom colors with the existing color sets.
Oh, goddamn. That's like next
That
level.
game, dude, that game is like, it costs $50, but like value, it's like 80, which is great.
Yeah, well, I would say even like $50. It's like, are they selling it at a loss at $50? I don't even know, but that sounds so reasonable for.
I know, because people are paying for it because they don't have to buy all the DLC characters.
That's
They just
totally
buy the game
fair.
once and they have all of it.
No,
And
okay.
I think that's the issue there. If we had to pay for title updates, people would just be swamped with paywalls.
Yeah, they would, or they'd have to like have. Oh, god damn it! They'd have to pay for like a hunt pass or some shit, so they get every title update on time or some shit, you know, or as a whole or as a bundle, I guess. I don't know.
And to be fair, I think some people would say, and I would mildly agree with them, yes, the content is worth paying for. I would agree with you. I just can't pay for it all the time. That's the thing.
No,
And I think having something be optional makes it way better on the people. Because I hate it when people say this, but not everybody can afford this stuff. Not everybody has to buy that stuff, and you don't need to pay for it.
No, it's true.
If the
Like
title
these are
updates
layered
cost
weapons.
money-
You know, they're not going to
Yeah.
change the meta. Like, heaven forbid your fashion game is off point because you can't afford DLC layered weapons.
If you bought 0 of the DLC, you were losing only 1% of the game.
Yep, I would say even less than that.
Yeah, maybe even 0.9%.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, if you had to pay for title updates, people just couldn't afford it at all. Not at all.
Not even
I
little.
wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to get title update 2. I'm very much in trouble money wise right now. Just because
oh, no.
I'm not like poverty. I could eat and stuff like that. I mean,
Okay,
like,
good.
I mean, like keeping up with expenses here and there, but we're fine. But I'm not. Don't worry about that.
Okay, cool.
But I couldn't afford. I don't have fun money. That's a better way to say it. I don't have
Yeah.
fun money right
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are in that boat right now because I'm starting to run low on fun money myself. So
yeah, and I
Yeah.
just, and it's like I don't. I think that's that's the only way I could see all the DLC being free is that Capcom gets to make money off of their work.
yeah,
Right?
and I feel like they should, in all honesty. You know, as
Especially
far as I'm
something
aware, most of
like
the
Waze.
paid DLC they put out has been very reasonably priced. You're not charging $20 for like a piece of armor.
Weirdly enough, I think the music is the thing I have the most problem with, just because I buy it a lot.
Fair.
It's like $1 per song is a little much, but I mean, hey, it's not the worst thing ever.
I mean,
Music is kind of
I've
priced
seen
like
some
that.
games where it's like $5 for like a track.
Oh yeah, that's fucked up.
That is very fucked up.
But and then to be fair, even musicians charge that much for like their albums. They'll have like a $10 album and it's like 10 songs, so that's
Oof.
fair.
Oh, well, that's not too bad because I would assume those are indie musicians doing stuff like that. Because I know
Well,
albums
indie
on
mus-
Bandcamp have a tendency to be way higher priced than on something like Amazon Music or I guess iTunes if people are still using that.
Well, to be fair, it's a thing to complain about piece by piece, but you're getting 10 songs for $10. It's like, kind of just forget about it, buy it. $10 ain't that big a deal.
Yeah.
Like, just save up for it if you can't afford it this way.
No, and if you like that artist, you want to support them. You know, I would say that's a good value.
Yes, but I would say that is why the microtransactions don't bother me the most, is because I've played games that release small expansions over time, and you just can't, at least for somebody who doesn't have enough fun money, you just can't play the game for a short period of time, or you're locked at a certain level of content. And you just can't get there. So I think having something completely optional cost money instead is a very good way for those poor people who can't
Yeah.
afford that stuff to keep playing the game. And it's fair. I think definitely the best point, because wrapping up on the Monster Hunter stuff, I
Yep.
think the best point is that we don't want too much effort on the paid stuff. I agree with that 100%,
Oh yeah.
because then it's taking away from the unpaid stuff.
Right, and if
Stuff
they're
that
putting
we-
that much effort into it, I feel like Jesus, this is hard to say, but I feel like they should just put it in the game and make it earnable in game if they're gonna be putting
Yes,
that much effort into it.
yeah, that's fair.
You know?
That's a fair point. Well, to be fair, I wanted it to be a weapon set. I don't want it to be a layered set only. I want it to be an actual weapon.
No, that's
my
fair.
biggest point.
No, that's totally fair. To be honest with you, like, because they're rolling out these title updates. We're getting like, what is it, like 2 or 3 monsters per update, something like that.
4 in the first one, 3 in this one.
All right, so we're getting a few monsters per update, but that's only like a few weapons per update because not all of these monsters make every weapon.
Hey guys, side tangent. You remember how people made fun of Sunbreak for not having enough monsters?
Yep.
Yes.
Guess what's only 1 monster away from beating Iceborne post title updates with just title update 2?
Is it God Eater 3?
No.
Oh no, is it Tokiden? Oh shit! Are they putting new content for Soul Sacrifice Delta?
I should.
I bet it's Pokemon.
Don't play with my heart, Benny. Don't play with my heart.
Fuck you guys. Sunbreak, I believe, is 70 and at now, right? So counting title update 2, it's at 70.
Yep.
And Iceborne, with all of its title updates, is at like 71. I believe.
That's not bad.
Or 75. Either way, we're so close that it's gonna surpass it.
Do you think by the end of sorry. Do you think by the end of Risebreak's life span, do you think it'll have over 100 monsters?
No, because I think we'll only get max 4 per update. Which is fair.
Yeah.
It's better than Iceborne, 1 per update.
This is true.
Yes, that is also true.
Do we know
more than 3 or no?
Can you repeat that, Rev? And you broke up a little bit there.
Sorry.
Oh, no,
do we know if they're doing more than 3 updates or no?
Yes. They said more to come in 2023.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
They said unannounced updates. If I go to the roadmap, it's there.
Cool.
So if we're getting at least 5, then we could possibly hit maybe 80.
Yeah, 80 sounds reasonable, but not 100. Probably not. Let me check the roadmap. Yep, because it has the 3, has August, fall, winter, and then 2023. It does say plural for 2023, so a minimum, probably, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think 2 sounds cool. I'd like 2. But yeah, I feel like that's generally how I feel about the Monster Hunter thing. It's overblown for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I'm just gonna sum up shit and say, like, I feel like it's mostly just fear mongering based on, oh no, they're gonna start putting more effort into these DLCs than they are these free updates. And if that is something that happens, then there will be hands thrown. I will be throwing hands at Capcom.
It just bugs me that so many people are screaming and crying about it and never actually bringing up that point.
Yeah.
They're just saying, I don't like that it costs money. It's like, Well, that's not really the problem there.
I mean, do you not like that it costs money, or did somebody tell you to say that because you don't have any original thoughts for yourself?
I know, but let's not be too harsh, because it's fair
I'm
to
trying
dislike
not
it.
to be. I'm really not.
I definitely think it's totally fair to criticize and show negative feelings toward things you don't like in games that you like. But you need to not be all the sky is falling. Because the sky is not falling, especially not with Monster Hunter. But it's fair to be like, hey, I don't like where this is going. I could see this becoming bad. Totally fair. Totally 100% agree with that. Yeah. But I definitely think it's overblown at the moment.
And I am willing to agree. People are way too ready, especially on Twitter, to start throwing hands at like the slightest shit. I'm just like, how about take a step back and look at this bigger picture? You know, you don't need to just go be the default of throwing hands, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think that's it for MH. So, what other things you guys want to talk about monetization wise?
I'll be honest with you. Most of the games I play these days don't have, quote unquote. I would say, okay, I'll say it like this: most of the games I play these days, they don't have a predatory system of microtransactions. There are like some paid extra content things going on, but I wouldn't say it's like as convoluted as like money to in-game currency, into loot boxes, into like random shit that you're never gonna use. You know, so I mean, okay, how about this? Dead Space 3. I'm pretty sure that was the first time that I saw like the biggest, shittiest implementation of microtransactions that just straight up broke the game, because you could like there were weapons you could buy that would basically make the game easy mode. It would be irrelevant. You just play through the whole game with these weapons and you'd never use the actual crafting system. Or there's this predatory thing of like, well, you don't have enough scrap, then the screen will pop up so you can go to the store and buy in-game currency so you can buy more scrap. And I'm just like, that was so. And you know what sucks is that Dead Space 3 is actually, mechanically speaking, a really good game. It's just, it's ruined by all this nonsensical, illogical, game destructive, like, I want money behavior from the dev team. Or maybe it's the publisher's fault. I don't know. I'm just going to point fingers at everybody, because that was something that was really upsetting to me. And I, to this day, still haven't played that game. I probably never will.
I'm looking up with it because there's a game. Have you guys ever heard of Shadow of Mordor?
Yes. Wait. Is that the one that's like Batman Arkham City, but you're in Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Okay, then yes. I played that as well.
Have you heard of its sequel that completely got taken over by microtransactions, even though it was single player?
No. Really?
I only ever played the first one.
Same.
I've played the second one.
How bad?
Yeah, just give us the skinny and like what left a bad taste in your mouth.
Game where you can actually wage war against the orc people by like taking over and like becoming a orc captain leader, essentially. Because like you're having stuff like that, and then your orcs can have rivalries with other orcs and stuff like that. So there's like a whole war going on while you're actually playing the game, and different events will happen while you're progressing. And it's completely random. It's called like the Nemesis system, I think, where like certain Uruks or whatever will be Nemesis with each other or with you. It's super cool, and then they'll get different properties depending on what happens. And then that system got completely overtaken by, you can level up your Uruks by buying this or buying that.
Oof.
You can buy stat bonuses.
Ew.
You can boost your Uruks.
XP boosts? Really? XP boosts? What the fuck?
Let's just say there are a handful of really good Uruks out there in the universe. They're in loot boxes as well.
Yeah,
for God's
and like some people come out as like, oh, that's actually, you know, you can buy XP boost, you know, because not everybody has time to like, you know, play the game for hours. Yeah, well, maybe if the game wasn't designed to be like a shitty fucking grind fest from the beginning, they wouldn't need these systems in order to fucking pay out fucking. That's why I hate XP boosts, though. Really, because I'm in that boat of I don't have the time, but I don't want to have to pay money in order to like circumvent the system that shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Or the luge, you see, they're not adding the microtransaction after the fact to supplement the system. They're making the system to be encouraging toward microtransactions.
And that's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty bad.
That's the definition of predatory.
That is Benny.
I know the newer Assassin's Creed games have the fucking like gold boosts, experience boosts, and all that.
Oh yeah. Was it? It wasn't
for
I think it was
single-player.
Unity or something like that, where I spent a bunch of Helix credits just to get like decent gear so I could do stuff online with my friends. That was an experience I had.
So rough.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
No, it really is. You
And
got
if- and fucking-
any experiences with microtransactions that left a bad taste in your mouth, Revan?
Ooh. I guess we can touch on the Fallout 76 subscriber first.
Oh no.
I don't know anything about Fallout 76, so
All right, so it's a Fallout MMO essentially.
gotcha.
Takes place in Appalachia,
Mm-hmm.
and it has its own subscription thing like GTA Online does, which is also their thing. But it was pretty bad. There are occasionally unique armor sets and power armors that you can buy and whatnot, or get early access to that other people can't get.
Just through their subscription service? And it's not
Yes.
unlockable in-game. You have to have the subscription.
Yes, there are certain things in the subscription service that you cannot get in the game properly.
And that rubs me the wrong way for many reasons. Like, I feel like if you're doing the subscription service, sure, give them the exclusive content, but also make it, or not exclusive, but like make it like free, I guess, for the guys, because they're paying the subscription fee, so they should get something for that. But also make it unlockable, like maybe make it unlockable for everybody else. They just have to, fucking bust their ass to get it or some shit, because then they're like, oh look, this shiny thing that I have, and I didn't need the subscription service for it. Because that's what the hunt pass used to be like in Dauntless. And then, what is it? Me and Benny were playing it like a little while, like forever ago, actually. And then Benny's like, "There's no reason to do this hunt pass. It's absolutely shitty." I'm just like, I remember it being really good because you could like get like the new DLC content for free if you just filled out your hunt pass and did all like the requirements and stuff. Because that's how I got
That
like a
was,
bunch of stuff back in the day. But then they changed it so it's just like colors and maybe a token to throw into the RNG generator decoration machine, which is so dumb.
But you remember the point you made to me though, right?
No.
Well, that was a young naive Ben who was like, "Oh, but there's no good content in here," and then Deluge was like, "Yes, there shouldn't be good content in there." I was like, "You just go earn the cool stuff." Got it. So.
Yeah, that's kind of that's. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even look at the hunt pass at that point because I was just like buying shit straight up. But yeah, it used to be a lot better than it was. Now it's just there's no point to it at all, which is so shitty.
Which doesn't. And if you think about it, it's a good thing because then that means hopefully the cosmetics are actually either in the game or just buyable.
Yeah.
So that way there's no.
Oh no, there's a shit ton of stuff in Dauntless. It's just you could just straight up buy it and have it.
No, and I don't. For some reason, that bothers me less than like either loot boxes or like battle passes.
Oh no, for sure. No, absolutely. Like I feel like, yeah, maybe Dauntless did do it correctly, but they shouldn't have backtracked on how they incentivized the hunt pass because that would keep a lot of early players playing, like even through like the rough ass grind. But again, I go back to maybe you shouldn't have to incentivize the players because there shouldn't have to be a fucking rough ass grind.
Yeah, and like, God. So, Revan, was there anything like? Because I know Fallout has a leveling system. How did the leveling system work in 76, and did it have any ties to microtransactions?
I don't remember there being XP boosts.
I hope there was
money boost in the game.
Okay.
Thank the Lord, because it feels like the easiest one devs are doing these days.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff to do now, so you don't really have to worry about that. But since it's an MMO, obviously, playing with friends makes it more fun and everything than playing by yourself. Yeah.
It's really weird they didn't make that game free.
But it is on Game Pass.
Well, no, yeah, fair. But like, if they wanted to do whatever they wanted with monetization and like shit like that, but the game was free, it's like it just becomes way less of a problem when the game's free. Because you didn't pay for it in the first place. You don't have to, pay for it.
I feel like that's the route they want to take it.
I mean,
but at the same time, I've got no idea.
I wonder how much loss they got out of it.
Hopefully
I
enough
think
to
they
make
were-
them never do something like that again.
Yeah. God.
Well, we're coming up on the 40-minute mark. Do we want to close out? How we all feeling? Anybody got anything they want to get off their chest?
Got anything, Robin?
Oh,
No.
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh God! All right.
Oh,
Nah,
no.
lay it on me, because that's one of those ones that is infamous. Because that's an Activision game, isn't it?
That's an EA game.
It's an EA game.
Worse.
It's just same tomato. They
It
both are
was
just so.
the microtransactions when that game first came out were so bad. You only had access to like very few heroes and villains. Like you had to pay for loot boxes to get access to star cards to put on your assault class or heavy class or whatnot, and you have to buy the loot boxes to upgrade them. You have to, in order to get access to the newer heroes and whatnot, you have to pay in-game currency to buy them. But it takes forever, and most people just immediately bring out the wallet.
Ugh.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. When you bring up Battlefront 2, it makes me feel bad complaining about paying for a DLC character in a fighting game, because at least I get the character.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, it's like the character is already in the game, everything, but you have to pay for it with
These
in-game
were at
currency.
launch.
It wasn't launch, yeah.
It wasn't even like that there was a launch roster and then the
Just-
extra characters were on the loot boxes. No, the launch roster had it. God.
It was so bad at launch.
Did they ever bother to fix it?
Oh yeah, like I think with the first update they did proper content drop in the game. They fixed a lot of stuff.
I mean, I should hope so. But it shouldn't have
Like
been
the
like
game-
that in the first place.
Yeah, the game's really good now.
Okay, good.
It sucks that they cut the content early though, but
Yeah, well, that's just the poor management in the beginning. Thankfully, at least they salvaged it to make it a good game. I have known that in the past, some developers have kind of just left their games to rot sadly. Especially
Yeah,
developers
it's
who just go, "Well, we made our money. Let's move on."
because like DICE can make good games. It's just that
They make really
EA
good
just kind of rushes them, and they don't get enough time to properly do stuff.
No, and that is actually a big problem in video game development in general. Is that you have the publishers and your producers and all your other people who are throwing money at you, being all like, "This shit needs to have been out like 3 weeks ago." You said you'd only take you 2 years. You're coming up on a 3.5 now. You gotta fucking throw something out there, boy. It's just like, look, if
sucks.
they misinterpreted the timeline of 2 years, and it actually takes 4 years. But if they're staying within their budget, I mean, let them just fucking do it.
Yes, go ahead and push the game out, and then put in lots of microtransactions to make up for whatever loss.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's just fuck me running.
It's like it's not the developers' fault. Like they're trying their best to make the game as good as they can. They get rushed by higher ups and the publishers and whatnot. And it's just like,
Yeah. All right, we feeling pretty good about that one. Anybody got any last words?
I have some last words. I want to be very careful because we have a lot of people that we know that we're close to disagree with us on this, and I want to very specifically say I don't, because this is an argument that happens a lot where someone says this isn't great, I don't like this, and then other people go around, but it's worse elsewhere, so it's fine here. It's like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to express my feelings on how I feel in the situation. And I would hope that you guys feel the same about that. We're not trying to shame you for being disappointed or frustrated with
Yeah.
with decisions like this. I want to make sure that that's very, very clear.
No, absolutely.
It's totally fair to have those problems. We just would like to discuss that instead of just be mad and throw stuff into the
No, for
try
sure.
to be critical about it.
No, absolutely. I mean, if somebody's got an issue with paid DLCs in particular games or franchises and how it's done, then I'm more than willing to listen. I'm more than willing to understand. But you kind of have to have good reasons why you don't like it. You know, if you just straight up don't like it and you want to throw shade at people, that's not okay. But some people deserve having shade thrown at them. I am understanding of that.
And it's fair to say I just don't like it. It's just it can be difficult to listen to people who just repeat opinions and stuff like that. So it's just say you don't like it and leave it at that point, you know? Don't start yelling about how like, well, it's gonna get worse. Well, how? Like, can you elaborate on what you mean by that? And stuff like that. It's just but no, it's totally fair to not like it. And if you don't have any deeper feelings than that, that's also totally. We just like to figure out why we feel the way we feel about games. That way, hopefully, we can convey that to developers, get better products.
And on that terrible disappointment, that brings our podcast to a close.
Wait, what? Terrible disappointment?
Paraphrasing Top Gear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like how there's
No,
only
it's
13
it's not always about you, Benny.
Revan, I heard where you're going with that. I don't want you to finish that.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that Lance isn't a weapon in this.
I know, and they straight up deleted the longsword too. It's horrible. It's a shame. But we'll always have charge
it's a real
blades.
shame.
Game.
We'll always have charge blade.
Oh, developers just put out a tweet. It's an 11 weapon game. Sorry, Deluge.
Did they get rid of switch axe?
Yes.
Did they get rid of hammer?
No.
And I'm still golden, baby.
Nope, there's a new tweet out. Looks like the hammer's gone.
Alright.
Oh man, like MH try all over again.
I'm gonna hit the stop recording button now.